Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I be my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything.
Alright, so I know I've been mentioning for a while that I was going to do a video on how much Mona Lisa has cost me so far. And we'll be doing that today. Just decided to get it out a little bit, do a little bit of testing on it, because I switched some stuff up. But I'm gonna go around the neighborhood, get a little bit of driving footage in, and head back to the garage and go over how much I have in the Mona Lisa. Now, this isn't a show car. Still needs some work. It's far from perfect, but pretty much built this thing from the ground up, and spent a lot of time, learned a lot on it. So I'll go over all the parts on it. So pretty much I recap from when I got it to what it is now. Like I said, it's not perfect, it's not a show car, and it's not a big budget car. I see a lot of these cars out there claiming they're 6 figures plus, which is like, nah. At a certain point, you can tell what somebody has into the car up to a certain point. Like I said, there's some people, they have what I have into this, just their motor, or just their paint, or just their interior, or just their wheels and tires. But it's budget friendly. It's a budget-ish build. So yeah, let me stop talking, get to it, and catch you guys back on once I get back to the garage, and we'll go over how much I have into Mona Lisa. There we go. All right, so we're back in the garage. Car did all right. Still needs to tweak a few things, but like I said, I was gonna do a video on what I have into Mona Lisa so far. And before I get into that, I'm gonna start with where the name comes from. So, pretty sure everybody's seen it. Tokyo Drift.
Still need a dictionary? You know that real famous painting? The one of the women who smile all the time? The Mona Lisa. Right, Mona Lisa. But look, man, this car right here is like the Mona Lisa of the drift work. How we built this bad boy from ground up. We talking 4-inch pistons. Bigger turbo, new rods, new crankshaft. Hey man, Hans labor ain't cheap, man, you feel me? You know what? Just don't mess up Mona, right?
Just don't mess up Mona, all right? But yeah, that's where the name came from, is Tokyo Drift. We talk about how Han rebuilt this thing from the ground up, hence Dash rebuilt this thing from the ground up. I just thought the name was fitting. I think it actually had the name before I even had the turbo and everything on it, so yeah. But without further ado, got my notebook, and I have a previous video when I went over it before any of the drivetrain stuff. So if you watch this one, I'll do a recap on pretty much the whole build instead of just taking off from that video to what it is now. I'll go over everything I have onto the car, or at least as much as I can remember. There will be some small stuff left out here and there, and then stuff like sandpaper, body filler, little cans of spray paint here and there, shipping and handling on parts. I won't add into it. It'll just be pretty much the bulk of the parts I can remember, not tax or anything, just going over what I have into it. So I'll probably try to find a good place for the camera to set up, and then I'll just start reading off parts. It's not going to be a 20-minute video of me just talking. I'll go over bits and pieces. I'll put in little clips here and there of the stuff I'm talking about. But story time. All right, so it's somewhat going to be all over the place, but I'm going to start with originally getting the car, the stuff before the drivetrain, and then after that it'd be all the stuff from the drivetrain and to what it is now. So everything's in a playlist on YouTube. You go back, look in a playlist. I have stuff on when I first got the car, have the whole wiring series, the 4.8, all that stuff related to that. And then I have a new playlist of just buttoning up Mona Lisa. So all the small stuff here and there that I've been having to do the last couple months. So originally I picked the car up for $500. Found it on Marketplace. It was just a shell, no motor, no hood, no interior, just the body pretty much. Then I bought a rear end from one of the guys off Colorado G Bodies. That was $1,100. Wheels and tires. The wheels, $1,200 for the set. The tires were about $600, nothing fancy. American Racing Draft wheels, 8.5, 20 by 8.5 on all four. And then after that, I did a UMI Stage 2 kit. That was $2,800 at the time. And then the interior, this was before these seats and everything. I picked up a set of a bench seat, back seat, I think door panels and dash from the junkyard for around $100. And then the carpet and the headliner, that was $150 each. Paint and primer, so it does have a sealer on it, then a primer, and then a paint. It's a single stage satin white. So paint and primer. The sealer I got from Ravi over at Grind School, so that was free. Paint and primer was about $400 combined. I did the paint and body work myself, so if you see it, the body work's not the best, but hey, I'm not a body guy. So let's see, after that, I did the rocker panels. They needed to be replaced, along with the door striker reinforcement plates. So those were about $100 for all of it. So for the rockers and the door strikers, about $100. I don't know what's up with the shoulder, but might be the shirt. So the AC delete plate, about $30 online, and then the drip tray. So once you remove the AC, you have that weird gap in that drip tray or alongside the windshield. So I did a drip tray from G-Force. That was about $100. There's a cheaper version or less expensive version, just a generic version I have on the El Camino, and you could definitely tell the difference in them. So the hood I picked up from a buddy from Colorado G Bodies local for $200. And the core support, that came out of a junkyard. The one on the car was cut up, so I had to find one off another Monte in the junkyard, so that's another $60. The airbox, so the Monte Carlo SS airbox, I got that from Dylan Peterson. He's out in Omaha. He has a whole bunch of G-Body parts cars. I have a video on that, so if you're on the page, you've probably seen it already. The airbox was $100. Door locks, door handles, locks, and the nose brackets. So there's brackets to hold the front clip on. All those were about $100. I think I ordered them all at the same time, so I just have it down for $100. And then the spoiler, the Dodge Challenger spoiler. You get a lot of people ask me about it. It's from, I think, a 2009 through 14 Dodge Challenger, which I think you go 09 through today. I don't think they changed too much. Wish I would have got one with the backup camera, but I didn't. I wasn't sure how it's going to fit and look, but I like the look of it, and it gets a lot of attention. So that was $60 off Amazon. I have a fuel pump hot wire kit. The one on Mona Lisa, I bought off my buddy Craig from Colorado G Bodies for $40. But the one on the Elko, I got that one from Casper's Electronics. They sell them for about $65, I believe. So I paid $40. Then we have the steering linkage. That was a whole kit. That was $120. Can't read my own handwriting. don't know what that is, but something for another $100. That might be the gearbox. So yeah, we'll go with the gearbox. It was $100. Bought off a buddy. That and the Jeep steering shaft. Just pulled that from the junkyard. So next would be the body mounts. I got called out on them by my buddy Drew. He's like, man, you got to replace them. So I did. I know I still need to send him the bill. If you're watching it, I'm gonna send it to you one day. The body mounts are poly mounts, so those were $200 from Energy Suspension, I believe. Like I said, all this stuff is on its own video, so it's in a playlist under its own video. If you need to figure out how I did it or look at part numbers, go back through the playlist. Well, I guess that was something different because that steering wheel was 100. Then I had the brake booster and the steering box. I bought those off a buddy from Colorado G Bodies. Got those off Ernesto. He had a 442 parts car. I pulled them off of $150 there. The brake lines, inline 2 brake lines, those were another $150. The C5 calipers and spindles. Now those I got off a trade, so it didn't cost me anything, but I just wanted to include it in here to show you guys what I've done to the car. Those could vary in price depending on if you find them yourself or not, but it is the S10 Blazer 2-wheel drive spindles, C5 Corvette calipers. Then I had to buy the rotors and the pads. So the rotors and the pads were $200, but the calipers and the spindles, they were free to me. So that's pretty much everything I did before the powertrain. So now it's going to be a long list of parts. So yeah, we'll get started again. So it's actually coming up on three years of building the car. I have the first video written down as October 23rd, 2021. So it hasn't happened overnight. I know some of these channels, they could throw out a car in a couple weeks, but I work for a living, so you got to save up a little bit here and there, buy little parts here and there, or for the larger stuff, save up for a while and buy that. So it has been a 3-year journey. So yeah. All right, let's start with the fun stuff. The motor, it's a 4.8, so LS based Vortec motor. It's a 4.8. Picked it up off of Marketplace for $500. And then transmission I'm running in the car currently, it's a loaner transmission, so I either have to give this one back or give the bad one back for a core. So it's a 4L80E. I paid $1,000 for the bad transmission. I got that with the 6.0, so I really paid $2 grand for the combination. Sold the 6.0 for $1,000, and then the transmission pretty much $1,000 out of pocket. The On3 turbo kit, which I'm not a huge fan of for the fitment and how it's advertised. It's not a G-body kit, but that was $1,900. And these prices could have changed over time. So I've, like I said, over 3 years, about 2 for the motor and everything. Prices could have gone up. So On3 turbo kit was $1,900. I did head gaskets. Those were $70. Roller trays were $35. The turbo filter, that was $50. AN fittings, I just have random AN fittings, like the compression fittings for the sending unit, and maybe some other ones to run the lines. Just have $100 and just random fittings. That's just an estimate. Could be more, could be less. And then I have an orb fitting. So it's a little pricey for what it is, but it's a 90 coming off the fuel rail to clear the alternator with a jugs intake. So that fitting alone was $63. Dipstick, so the oil dipstick and the transmission dipstick, those together were about $50. The banjo fittings for the 4L80E, those were about $20. The LS1 water pump was $115. The oil pan, the 302-2 style oil pan, it's not Holley, it's just a generic Amazon one. That was 150. Then the Terminator X Max, I believe when I bought it was about 1,300 bucks. The Tinker Dash, which I'm still waiting on the gauge cluster. So it actually looks like it's installed correctly. The Tinker Dash for the 7-inch was 550 bucks. A Sharp Performance pass-through, so the firewall pass-through for the Terminator X, that was $55. The cross member, I believe it's the Summit brand or Speedway brand, but it's just a rebranded G-Force one, was $300. The Hot Rod Fuel Hose Kit, so all the fuel lines and transmission lines are Hot Rod Fuel Hose. That kit was 180 bucks, and I believe that one came with the Corvette style regulator. I could be wrong, but if I were to do it again, I'd go through Snake Eater Performance, just because they're on board on sponsoring the channel a little bit. Little discount code -garage if you guys are looking for parts for them. But both cars run Hot Rod Fuel Hose, which they've been good to me. They would have reached out to sponsor, I would have went through them too, but you know, it is what it is. The fuel pump, so I went with the Marlboro 450. I know some people are talking about once you start getting into boost and turbo and everything, you want to do a dual pump or anything. I did my research, and for the injector size, the power I want, and E85 eventually, I just did the 450. So I want to say that was 100 bucks at the time. Then the radiator. So the radiator and fan combo is from Alloy Works, and on mine it cost me $80 out of pocket. Normally it's $260, but mine did show up damaged, and I told them, I reached out to them, I was like, hey, it showed up damaged, and they refunded most of the money, hence why I only had to pay $80 out of pocket. So radiator fan combo was 80 bucks. Had to get a new starter, so that was 140. Alternator was 120. Spark plug wires, I believe they're Michigan Motorsports spark plug wires. They pretty much hug the block, so I don't have to worry about the wires melting, hitting the headers or anything. Those were 115. Now the fuel injectors. Wish I'd had the Snake Eater Performance sponsorship before, but spent 600 bucks on Snake Eater Performance injectors. I believe they're the 880s, so 880cc injectors, which, like I said, for the power goals I'm planning on and for what I'm doing, I believe I sized them right. And then I have two sensors, so two low-dollar motorsport sensors, one for the oil pressure, one for the fuel pressure. Those are about 60 bucks each, so 120. The Jegs intake. Now with this one, I believe the price has gone up, but I included the throttle body and the intake and all that. The whole thing together for the intake was about 500 bucks. So we're good there. Let's see. The flex fuel mount. So the flex fuel, the sensor and everything, that was about 150 total. Alright, so figure one. I'm going to talk about the motor stuff on the inside. But where to leave off, the Restronic fuel pressure regulator, that was 130. And then the Sloppy Mechanics alternator wire and the flex fuel sensor are that harness. I have it as 40 bucks, but I think that's just the alternator. I think with the flex fuel sensor is like 60. So yeah, like I said, there's little things here and there that I might have missed out on. Alright, the Durali transmission cooler. It's a standalone cooler, so it doesn't come up to the radiator or anything. It's under the car. That was 280, and it does have a Texas Speed cam in there. So I think the full kit was 650. Then I had to buy the battery. That was 150. Just a Walmart EverStart battery. The exhaust kit. So with the turbo kit, I got everything up to the downpipe, and then I had to build an exhaust from there. Ordered a stainless steel kit. I think it's an 8-piece kit off Amazon. and that was 130 bucks. The muffler, I went with a Borla muffler. That was 110, and the catalytic converter, that was 160. And I had to buy a few extra V-bands, so about 50 bucks in extra V-bands. Let's see, the drive shaft and yoke. So I bought the yoke, took it up to the drive shaft shop with my measurements and everything, and they completed it. So all together, the whole drive shaft was about 600 bucks. The battery tray and breaker, so I do have it on a little kill switch kind of. That's about 60 bucks. The wire loom, so the whole painless kit. Well, I'll skip ahead and go back to it. So did do a whole new wiring. It is a painless kit, 10403. That's the kit number I use. It's a universal kit because nobody makes a direct kit for G bodies, just because there's so many differences between each make and model. So the painless kit was 550 bucks, and then to clean up the whole look, I have it wire loomed. Spent about 70 bucks in just wire loom alone. The B&M shifter, that's about 375, and then another 40 bucks for the safety switch, so the neutral safety switch with the reverse switch. That was extra 40. And then when I was doing the wiring, like all the fog lights, the tail lights, and everything, I did the whole new sockets on them. So sockets and bulbs, I think I spent about 150 on that. I have some powder coating done, so I think like the AC bracket, and there's a few other things on here. It might have been on the Elco, but my buddy Zach, he does some powder coating. I have about $200 in powder coating from him, which is a pretty good deal. So if you are local and you need some small stuff done, you're serious about it, I can put you in touch with him. Just hit me on Instagram and I'll pass on your information. I think he can do quite a bit of stuff. His oven's not as big for wheels yet, but he could do some engine components and all that stuff, you know, smaller stuff. Had to get a new windshield for it, so windshield was 180. Welding gas, like I said, I just threw in that because I did do quite a bit of welding on here. I had to refill the gas, so that was about 50 bucks for a tank. The battery cables in the fuse box, so I have all my fans and fuel pump and all that ran off it's a relay box with the fuses in there. I picked that up from Casper Electronics along with the battery wire or battery cables. That's about 150 bucks. And then the coolant hoses, so the upper hose, got that off, I think I picked that up from O'Reilly's, and the lower one's just a universal flexible hose. Those are about 80 bucks total. You can find them cheaper. I think it's just the one I used was a little bit more expensive, so that's why I have it there. The weather stripping, like I said, all new weather stripping on the doors and the trunk. I don't have it up here because that little bit of gap helps a little bit of heat get out, but I didn't know that till after. But the weather stripping was $150 for I think a 9-piece kit. The trunk enclosure, I've built a trunk enclosure in it. It pretty much encloses the trunk. So the materials on that was about 100 bucks. And then the seat brackets. So I know a bunch of people talk about the white seats in there. The seats were $275 off of Amazon, except for the pair. I liked them. It's just something different, so that's what I went with. And then the seat brackets I got off Amazon. If you just type in, I think your make and model, and search seat brackets, it'll come up for G bodies, and those were 100 bucks for both of them, which lined up perfectly. I had to modify the inner seat mounts, but that was my fault. I was close, but yeah. Let's see. The wheel spacers, 50 bucks. I have half-inch spacers on all four just because of the back spacing on the wheels was 4.99 inches. Or on these G bodies, you want to be around that 4.5. So had to space them out just a little bit. But I do have longer studs on there. Or the lugs on the lug nuts, those are extended, so I'm not worried about that. I don't think I have those written down in here, so those weren't too much. So the wheel spacers, the hood pins, arrow catch hood pins, those were 80. The brake rotors, so I did have to swap out the brake rotors on the rears. Those were bad, so I had to do some research and find the replacements on those. Those were about $100. And the coolant reservoir, just a universal coolant reservoir off Amazon. I have the radio, but that includes the radio, the wiring harness, and pretty much, and the speakers. I just have all that total. That was about $100. I didn't go anything too crazy on here, just a basic system. Just get a little bit of sound in there when I do get the car out. So I think that was everything. So yeah, so I think that's everything I had written down. So if you're doing the math in your head, which I wasn't, everything I mentioned was $22,148. So that's almost everything I have into the car. Like I said, there's some stuff here and there I missed out. I actually had some written down after the fact. $30 Evil Energy catch can. I just threw that on within the last couple weeks. The sound deadening, I remembered about that. That was about another $100. The header wrap, that was $110. So I said, if you add all the small stuff I forgot, like I didn't add the extended wheel lug or the studs for the wheels. I didn't add those in there. I forgot about those. You probably round it up to about $23,000 into the car, which is not bad. Not bad at all for something I built in my garage. Like I said, I did not include labor. So, of course, if you weren't doing this yourself and you had to pay to have it done, to have something similar or all the work I've done on here to have it done, you're probably looking $15,000-$20,000 in labor alone. I know when I quote people prices to do a motor swap or LS swap in their car, I just hit them with a basic, you bring me all the parts, my labor is $5,000. So I'm talking if you had to spend $5,000 just for the motor swap, that's $5,000 on top of there. Body work, that could be $10,000 plus easily. Interior, like I said, some people go crazy with interior. That could be another 20 plus in interior. So you got to keep that in mind. That's why I have it. $23,000 to the car for parts is not bad at all, if you ask me. Especially with everything I've learned along the way, been able to grow the channel. So if the channel takes off and I'm able to recoup any of that, it'd be nice. But right now, not making crazy money off YouTube, but I enjoy it. Like I said, you guys all subscribe to the channel and keep the channel growing, and I'll keep at it. Got a bunch of supporters, and they follow the build. You see the car out, everybody's calling it Mona Lisa, so they pay attention to the name and all that. So it's definitely getting there. She's getting even closer to being finished. Like I said, it's not perfect. There's some trim pieces that are broken, and some stuff needs adjustment. But like I said, it's just a project car. I know all the guys over at Carlo G Bodies, they're a big help. Like I said, that's just a Facebook group. It's not a car club or anything. But they've helped out on pretty much both cars, giving me a lot of knowledge on this G Body stuff. So I'm learning from them constantly, learning from you guys, commenting on the videos, and with suggestions, hit me up on Instagram. All the guys at Classic G Body Garage, that's a pretty good page. If you're not following that, follow that also. But like I said, just wanted to go over it, give you an idea on what goes into this stuff. Like I said, it's not a built motor. It's just a junkyard motor, turbo kit on it with some additions here and there. But like I said, there's some people, they have what I have into the entire car and just their motor and just their wheels and just the paint job and just the interior. Where me, I'm like, I do stuff budget friendly, so you guys could do it. Like I said, you don't have to go all out with the turbo setup or anything. You can keep it simple, just a junkyard motor, throw it in. You don't have to do Terminator X. I did it just for the ease of it. Like I said, I have it on the Elko. That's kind of just plug and play. There's different options out there. And like I said, just because I did it one way doesn't mean you have to do it. But I'm just trying to show you guys what you can do in your own garage with your own hands, with your own time. I said for 2.5, 3 years worth of work, I'm happy with it. Is it perfect? Far from it. Is it a nice, fun car to hop in and eventually be able to go just about anywhere in it? Yeah. There are some plans for the car, switch some stuff up here and there. I know I mentioned I want to do, I've seen it called something else lately, but I call it the anime one, where they just take the paint markers and highlight all the body lines and do all that. I'm debating on either doing it to this or another car. The hood vents, I might do that to help keep the engine bay a little cooler. The wheels and tires, those might get switched up. Just stuff here and there. I'm debating on tinting the windows, which I think I will do a light tint on it. So there are other plans. Like I said, this, you guys know, you're never done with these things. You might say you're done, but there's always stuff that could be improved or changed, switched up. So we'll get there eventually. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to come out, give you guys a overview on everything I have done to the car. So really next, I'm just gonna have to go get little clips of all the little parts, and it's gonna be a lot of editing in this one. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions on either car or just the build in general, let me know. And have some driving footage for you guys coming. Well, winter's coming up, so either refresh this one, refresh that one, try to get another project in here, try to do something. So definitely get a lot more driving footage for you guys next year, but still try to keep up with my weekly, at least weekly updates or weekly videos. Keep the shorts coming and just have fun. Still debating on merch or not, so we'll see about that. I do have some stickers coming, so if you're interested in that, hit me up on Instagram, and once those come in, we get those out to you guys. But yeah, not bad for 23,000.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day.